Now as we sit down with another global leader, he's Joergen Buhl Rasmussen, Chairman and Chief Executive of Carlsberg. He joined the group from Gillette and Duracell. Here he is to chat to me today. Thank you very much for joining us today. I think when I look at Carlsberg, the area that certainly fascinates me the most is Russia. And of course, it's the country where the president is clamping down on what he calls colossal alcohol consumption. Does his war against alcohol consumption, does it worry you at all in your position in Russia? I mean, you've got a massive slice of market share, and of course, Russia generates 45% of your earnings.
I think it's basically right, because they do have a problem in Russia about too high alcohol consumption. But the point we make again and again, it's much more about vodka, less about beer. So if you take total alcohol consumed in Russia, close to 75% would be true strong spirits, vodka, and only 25, maybe a little more, true beer. So the real issue is vodka, but we certainly support the overall agenda getting down total alcohol consumption.
And you can continue to make market share, can't you? That's your plan. I mean, how much over how long a period?
I don't want to put numbers on, but if you look at the history, for the last 10, 12 years, we have added share points every year.
Yeah.
And I'm quite confident we can do that going forward because of our brand portfolio, because of our very strong setup in Russia, we cover the whole nation, and we have integrated distribution and logistic and manufacturing with our sales marketing machine. So we're in a very strong position in Russia.
It's an industry, your industry, which has been transformed, hasn't it, in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years by big deals. There are 4 big players. You're the 4th biggest. Yet you seem to be shying away from making a transformative deal. Why is that?
I don't think we're shying away. We did something quite significant back in 2008, where we acquired Scottish Newcastle together with Heineken, and that was a huge step change and transformation for Carlsberg. We are now in the global league. We are strong where we play, which means we are strong in Western Europe, we are strong in Eastern Europe, and we are strong in Asia. We have no intention to suddenly go into Latin America and other geographies. We have a lot more to do where we are today.
Is a big merger with the likes of one of the other 3 players, I mean, is that totally off the cards in the future, do you think?
I don't want to speculate. I want to maximize what we have, and we have a lot more to do in our current business, so we have a lot we can progress on.
When you left Denmark in the early 90s to come to London, it was to work for Duracell, and then you moved on to Gillette. Carlsberg wasn't the type of company that you probably wanted to work for, yet many years later, you decided to rejoin Carlsberg, and you were pretty soon named as chief executive. How had the company changed in that time frame, and what was it about the company that drew you towards it?
I mean, you're right. It wasn't a company appealing to me when I left Denmark back in '93. It wasn't a company I probably would have chosen to work for. It was, in my mind, too production-driven. It was, in my mind, also very much a Nordic kind of business. What has changed since? Carlsberg today is a much more branded company. It's much more commercially driven. It's also much more international company. So when I got in touch with Carlsberg again back in 2006, it was a very different company, and to me, very appealing.
How do you differentiate the brand from your main competitors? I mean, when one talks about Carlsberg, it's the famous advertising, isn't it? Probably the best lager in the world. I mean, how does the brand move on from there? How do you compete in this global marketplace where, as you say, companies are moving into all sorts of new regions? How do you move the brand forward in these times?
I guess you should know, if you taste the Carlsberg, you just know it's better. But it's also about marketing, positioning, and you have to target different type of consumers, different type of positioning with your different brands.
Marketing costs went down though last year, didn't they? I mean, do you have to spend more to push the brand forward?
Going forward, yes, but it also went down last year because of media costs went down, because of the crisis. It was cheaper to buy media, so as a % of net sales, it was not a big difference. But cost, it was cheaper to buy media, but we will spend more in marketing our key brands. And the whole philosophy in Carlsberg, it's a branded business, and we have, in most markets, very strong local power brands, as we call them, and then on top, our international brands, Carlsberg, Tuborg, Kronenbourg, could be Baltica from Russia.
Tell me about London. You spent quite a few years here. We've got an election, of course, coming up. Will you be keeping a close eye on the election?
I'm sure I will follow, and I do follow. And look forward to all the debates coming on here in television in UK.
There's been a bit of a debate recently about who's the party of business, and many business leaders have sided with the Conservatives because they're not going to allow companies to raise their national insurance, and employees won't have to pay as much. Labour, of course, will go ahead with that next year. Would you want to side yourself in an argument such as national insurance or not?
No, I don't want to cite myself, but what I do want to, let's say, appeal to would be whoever end up coming out as a winner from the election. I would say dialogue with the industry and businesses are extremely important, and a kind of continuous dialogue, and then also get predictability is extremely important in a marketplace. Let's see who's winning. To me, that's less important. It's more about getting dialogue, having dialogue, and also predictability.
Talk to me about your leadership style. What's Joergen Rasmussen's leadership style? I gather you're very driven, very energetic as well, and continually ambitious.
That's how I tend to think about myself.
Yeah.
Of course, employees or colleagues would be better at answering this question, but I think I have a lot of energy. I do like action. I am surely quite demanding, but I think I'm also very approachable. So I keep an open door. Anyone who wants to come and talk to me can come and talk to me. If I'm in a market, and I try to get to markets a lot, I would be out talking to consumers, talking to customers, talking to colleagues. So I really want to be in close touch with colleagues, employees in the organization, but at the same time demanding.
Is it difficult with a global company such as yours? Is it difficult just stepping back and allowing each region's head to get on with it? Or is there a side of you that wants to micromanage and have your say and have your input into every region and every decision?
I try not to. I'm sure if you ask some of my colleagues,
I'm sure
they would probably say
Yeah.
sometime I'm getting too involved in too many details, and I'm sure I am sometimes, but I do try to keep a balance, and I do try to make sure whoever is set to run a region or a function, they get on with the role, and as long as they keep delivering on their objectives, I should stay slightly away. But what's important in a big company like Carlsberg, it's really important you align as a management, so you align on a common agenda and you set some key milestones where you want to be at a certain period of time, and then get there.
Quick last question, Joergen. What's the best Carlsberg pint beer in the world? What's your favourite? You must have a favourite.
I mean, I love a Carlsberg. On a hot sunny day like today in UK, a Carlsberg is very refreshing, very nice. But depends. If it's a meal, I like a slightly stronger, more heavy beer, so can be different depending on occasion.
But Carlsberg, the brand itself. Thanks very much, Joergen Rasmussen there, the Chief Executive of Carlsberg.